Hi, I'm Davis.
And I'm Andy.
And this is another episode of Game Grazers Discuss. How you doing, Andy?
I'm doing good, Davis. How about you?
All right, so recording's kind of weird. So it's Monday when we're recording it. Tomorrow is the 21st, which means Mighty Number 9's coming out, but all the reviews are trying to flood in, and it looks bad to
Midland.
So we kind of have a topical discussion of, let's talk about crowdfunding.
It's what all the kids are doing.
It is what all the kids are doing, and some of the old guys too. So that's sort of our topic for tonight. Is it good? Is it bad? What is its place in the industry? And if we have these instances where we have these big name projects and they fail, what do we do about them? How do we stop that from happening?
Well, of course, Mighty Number 9, the big name is Keiji Inafune.
Yes. So my kind of analysis here is I look at all like the big failure projects and 2.5 come to mind. I think there's some debate about whether or not Broken Age was any good, but they kind of had a different approach to how they went into that. Mm-hmm. But I view the two main failures at this point. Mighty Number 9 definitely one of them, and the Ouya is the other. But the reason I lump Broken Age is what I've kind of noticed is a lot of these big projects is there are people out there who they have a thirst, they have a hunger for something, and they want it, and they're voting with their dollars, which is the right thing to do, I think. Mm-hmm. To get those, I want this. I want the world to know that I want this thing. But then the people who attempt to deliver that thing don't quite live up to their promises.
Well, could they live up to the promises is another question, right? I mean, if your fan base is deep enough.
Yeah. And I think ultimately the answer to that is yes, you can deliver that because it sounds like Bloodstained, which is Igarashi. Mm-hmm. It sounds like that is doing a good job at being the Castlevania spiritual successor that everyone wants it to be.
Right.
Mighty Number 9, not so much. But yeah, it's like, we want a console that can do all these cool things. Oh, we want old school graphic adventures. Oh, we want Mega Man back. I especially think with Mega Man was definitely the idea that Capcom treated Mega Man like such shit that everyone was just thirsting for it. Everyone wanted to get back at Capcom for destroying a beloved franchise. And I know for me, because I backed Mighty Number 9, I was hot off the heels of why the fuck did you cancel Mega Man Legends 3? So that was kind of what was going on with that one. Mm-hmm. But I personally think that crowdfunding definitely has a place. Because, I mean, right now everyone always like, oh, AAA games and indie games. And they literally they are. There's a divide right down the middle. They're about as black and white as you can get. AAAs tend to be mostly safe bets with huge money invested in them to get huge blockbuster productions. And the indies are just the little guys who are like, oh, cool, I can raise like $10,000 on Kickstarter and make a neat game and be happy with it.
Me and my best friend, we can code up a game.
Exactly. But there's a space for games that I like to call like double A's or single A's. And kind of to me, the go-to examples, like, even though some of them came from AAA publishers and developers, Psychonauts is definitely what I consider double A, and Beyond Good and Evil is what I would consider double A. Games that don't quite have that AAA prestige, but they're not indies either.
Right.
They have scope and scale just slightly below AAA, and I think Kickstarter is a great place to get that funding because sometimes investors don't want to fund those games because they're risks. And what'd you say?
Well, I think that I think it's interesting that when it comes to sequelitis that gaming has, it's easy and safe for the big companies to just keep funding, the next iteration of Battlefield or the next iteration of Madden or whatever. And I do think that because of crowdfunding, it gives you an opportunity for some sort of unique gaming experience. Maybe not a massive franchise. Maybe it's an old franchise that may have reached cult status that corporations can no longer, or a corporation doesn't really want to risk on.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's kind of where things fit for me.
Yeah, and I think it's great because it offers us as consumers a connection to creators, the ability to say, yes, we want this without necessarily having to go through the telling game companies or investors, yes, that's what we want. I wanted a new graphic adventure. I wanted a Mega Man spiritual successor. Did I get those? That's debatable.
But do you think that at some level, the people, the big corporations that are bankrolling games, they're able to keep a development team focused, whereas I feel like with crowdfunding, I feel like the development team doesn't feel so pressured to necessarily follow. Obviously when you have a bunch of people funding it, you've got a whole bunch of different voices, voicing their opinion, and I think it's easy for developers to kind of ignore that.
Yeah, and I kind of wonder if like Inafune kind of suffered from what I like to call George Lucas syndrome. No one wants to tell him no. It's like, oh yes, your decisions are perfect no matter what. And obviously they're not perfect.
He's not infallible.
I kind of think one of the other issues that kind of crops up is like when you look at something like, a good example is Dust and Listen Tale was kickstarted.
Mm-hmm.
And they only got $40,000. But from what I've heard and what I've seen of both that and Mighty Number 9, which got $4 million, the $40,000 game has a lot more love and passion and craftsmanship poured into it.
Beautiful game.
And so obviously budgets don't really matter. But kind of what I fear is that you get games that say, oh, we want $300,000 to make this game. And then they end up getting like $2 million because people are hyped about it. And so they need to start developing a game to that scale because that's what people expect out of them. Mm-hmm. But that wasn't the game they had originally set out and planned to make. Suddenly there was more to the scale of what they were than what they had initially anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
So people are expecting a $4 million game out of Mighty Number 9, and we're getting a game that looks like they could have made that for 200.
They could have made a few Mighty Number 9s, 9, 10, and 11.
Yeah, exactly. And to that point, I kind of think about other things I have backed or funded. Indivisible is one. I think they did their funding correctly in that they had a rough alpha prototype available for play. Mm-hmm. And it was good. Like, they did a stellar job with that. And it showed they had the chops to make something fun and engaging and show people that they weren't just selling out marketing hype. And I think there's some level of marketing hype, like Ouya did, or there's some level of nostalgic hype, like Mighty Number 9 or Broken Age. And I mean, I think it all boils down to who the companies are, who the developers are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because you were going to get people like the Dust guys who just like, look at our fucking amazing game that we made on the cheap. And then you're going to get Concept who's like, look at this game we made. Yay! So I think when you have that level, when you have that bloat of like, oh, we wanted 300,000 and we got 2 million, I think the safer bet is to say, well, okay, we'll maybe dedicate $750 to producing this game, but the rest of it's going to be funded back into other development for the future.
So can you actually do that though? I mean, can you legally just say, oh, I know you guys funded it for this?
So many people on Kickstarter that are not just gamers have just taken the money and ran.
Yeah.
Once the money's in the creator's hands, Kickstarter can't enforce them to make something. That's kind of one of the issues that they tend to run across, I think, is that no one's held accountable. So whether or not you like Tim Schafer or what he's done with Fig, and whether or not you think it's just another money grab, at least now he has investors, not just backers, to be beholden to. People who are expecting a return on their money.
Right, which I think is a huge difference from a lot of the crowdfunding sites.
Yeah.
Which is, well, give us some money and this is kind of what you'll get.
Exactly. I definitely think it has its place amongst a wide variety of media, gaming included. Mm-hmm. It can help fill niches that have been dormant or vacant for a very long time because of the way the industry has progressed. But there has to be some level of, I think at this point, skepticism and kind of understanding what you're getting into. If you buy into the certain aspects of the hype, then you're going to end up with mega man.
So do you think that there's enough wiggle room there that backers can hold creators at some level culpable for their fuck-ups? I would
think so, and I think it's not going to come in the project that they're trying to back, but it'll come in future endeavors.
Yeah, that's right.
Backers, I don't think backers can really have any legal recourse to pursue. Mm-hmm. They just, again, same way that you vote with your wallet to back a project, you can also vote with your wallet to not back a project.
Right.
Or any other project those people produce.
Yep.
So, we want to hear your thoughts about crowdfunding. What do you think? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? How do you think we can deal with these issues of when people produce something that's not quite what they live up to. We definitely want to know that. And if you have a topic or question for us you would like us to discuss, please send them in to gamegrazers.com/discuss. And thank you very much, Andy.
Thank you, Davis.
And we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Ciao.